The most successful people in the world share one hidden habit. They have mastered the art of losing. Not just accepting loss, but seeking it, dissecting it, and wearing its scars like a map. Because they understand a secret that changes everything. Until death, all defeat is psychological. This isn't a motivational quote. It is a cold, hard law of human existence. Your body can be exhausted. Your resources can be depleted. Your circumstances can be brutal. But the final surrender always happens in the mind first. The moment you believe you are beaten, you are. And everything after that is just a formality. I didn't learn this in a book. I learned it on the floor. I learned it in the silent, pitch-black hours when the story I told myself about my own life collapsed, and there was nothing left but the raw, unbearable truth of my own choices. I had constructed an entire identity around potential, around tomorrow, around the person I was about to become. And one day, I looked in the mirror and saw a ghost living on borrowed time, a museum of excuses. That is the real defeat. Not failing a task, but becoming a person who accepts failure as their nature. The world will knock you down. That is a given. But it is you, and only you, who decides to stay down, to internalize the blow, to let it become not an event, but an identity. This is the psychological defeat. It is the story you whisper to yourself in the dark. I am not good enough. I am unlucky. I am a fraud. It is too late for me. And you build a shrine to that story. You arrange your life around its altar. You make decisions that prove it true. That is how a temporary setback becomes a permanent state. I lived there for years, in the kingdom of my own resignation. I was patient, but it was the patience of a prisoner, not a gardener. I was suffering, but it was the dramatic suffering of a martyr, not the quiet suffering of a sculptor chipping away at stone. I was waiting, but I was waiting for a miracle, not for my own slow, stubborn growth. And then, in the ashes of that old identity, came a single, quiet thought. Not a lightning bolt, but a slow dawn. What if I changed just one thing? Not my job, not my city, not my entire life in a grand sweeping gesture that would inevitably collapse. What if I changed the one story I told myself about why I was here? What if my one change was to relinquish the identity of the person who was defeated and simply become the person who gets back up? Not with fanfare, but with silence. Not today, but right now. This was the irreversible awakening, the one change. It is not about positive thinking. It is about brutal, factual thinking. It is the decision to surgically separate the event from the narrative. The fall is physics. The staying down is philosophy. You can be broke, but you must refuse to be broken. You can be rejected, but you must refuse to become rejection itself. You can be tired, but you must never confuse exhaustion with destiny. This is the long work, the silent endurance. It is rebuilding your mind, neuron by neuron, choice by choice, to reject the finality of any defeat that does not end your life. Because until that final breath, you are in a state of becoming. Every morning, you are presented with the raw materials of your yesterday's losses, and you get to decide, do I let these materials become the walls of my prison, or the foundation of my next step? Your one change is waiting for you. It is not a massive overhaul. It is a microscopic shift in perception. It is the decision to see the next obstacle not as proof of your inadequacy, but as the very terrain you are meant to cross. It is the willingness to lose again, but to lose differently, without letting it define you. So tonight, when the world is quiet and the ghosts of your old defeats start to whisper, do not argue with them. Just acknowledge their presence, and then turn your attention to the next single, small, undeniable action you can take. Pick up the book. Make the call. Write the first sentence. Sit in the silence for 5 minutes without running away. This is how you starve the psychological defeat. This is how you announce, with a quiet action that echoes through your entire being, that the story is not over, that you are not finished, that until the very end, you are still becoming. Keep going.